Only in Louisville would the first mayor be a man who didn't believe in science, had zero power to vote, and was handpicked by the governor because the state didn't trust the city's voters. Hi, I'm Michael, and welcome to a new series where we go through every Louisville mayor in chronological order. Because why not? Our first mayor was John Carpenter Bucklin. He served for 6 years from 1828 to 1834, and while party labels were a bit of a mess back then, Bucklin was a textbook pro-business merchant. He came from a family from Providence, Rhode Island, who were sea captains and privateers. His dad was basically a legal pirate in the Revolutionary War. So Bucklin was all about commerce and risk. To understand Bucklin, you have to understand the world in 1828. Andrew Jackson was taking over the White House, ushering in a rowdy era of frontier democracy. But while the country was expanding, Louisville was struggling to survive. It was a swampy port of 7,000 people, nicknamed the Graveyard of the West, because if the river didn't kill you, the disease-filled ponds in your backyard would. The way Bucklin got the job was kind of weird because back then only the city's white male residents voted, but they didn't actually decide the winner. The city council took the top two names and sent them to the governor of Kentucky, who handpicked Bucklin over his rival. Even then, the state gave him a title, but no teeth. He had zero vote on the city council in this, unless there was a tie, so he was essentially a referee with a gavel. And by the way, this was a volunteer position. Bucklin himself was a see-it-to-believe-it kind of guy. He was an insurance man who lived and worked in the 300 block of West Main Street, right near modern-day Whiskey Row. His personality was said to be unique. His own pastor called him a complete skeptic who thought anatomy, geology, and chemistry were all a humbug. And despite those flat-earther vibes, he was a workhorse. And ironically, he pushed for the first public school in the entire state of Kentucky, which started in 1829 at 5th and Green with 250 kids. Green Street is now Liberty Street, which I'm on, and 5th Street is just a couple blocks that way. Anyway, by 1830, he built a real schoolhouse at 5th and Walnut, the same spot where Muhammad Ali Boulevard is today. Then came the Great Flood of 1832. The Ohio River swallowed the city, and Bucklin was out in the streets coordinating relief with really no budget or emergency services available. He personally oversaw the Great Drain, the engineering project to empty the disease-infested ponds that made Louisville Death Marsh. And he even built a 3-mile wagon road to the neighborhood of Portland, which was incredibly needed at the time. Additional irony, while Bucklin called science a humbug, he raised 8 children on Main Street, and his son, James, grew up to be a famous civil engineer who helped build the American railroads. Thankfully, the skepticism gene skipped a generation. It wasn't all progress, of course, in a slave-holding border state. Bucklin's primary power was more judicial authority over enslaved black people and free black residents. The version of order was built to protect the merchant class he belonged to. He finally stepped down after 6 years in 1834, having done all of it for zero salary. Strictly a volunteer gig, like I said. He eventually ended up in Cave Hill Cemetery. So, that's one Louisville mayor. See you after the next election.